At this time, I would like to introduce 12 Kindle books published by Mr. Shigehiro Nakamura on this site. You can see each book on the site at the bottom right by using QR code, but here I will introduce only the main points of each book in a short time. This time, the purpose of using Kindle books is to improve the skills of everyone working in the manufacturing industry. In general, group training is often used for this measure, and it takes a lot of time to carry out the necessary menu. In the training, group discussions meet people with different ideas and experiences, and they can learn from each other. You can ask questions directly to the instructor. However, on the contrary, if the prescribed training period is missed, there is a problem that it is difficult to obtain information. On the other hand, in self-study using Kindle books using the web, the place and time are free. It is efficient because you learn only the necessary parts at your own pace. Since you can learn repeatedly, you can fully learn various improvement methods. For this reason, since the COVID-19 problem occurred, it has become popular as one of the means to improve by oneself without moving. For this reason, I recommend you to use Kindle books in addition to the traditional seminar method. Mr. Nakamura published a large number of books in order to make the Kindle book useful to everyone at this time, and I hope that you will see it in the position shown in this figure. This figure is used for checking to systematically improve the level of your manufacturing industry. The vertical axis is 5M. The horizontal axis is the target people in the manufacturing industry. This time, after positioning each Kindle book in this figure, I would like to explain the main points of the book. Then, I will briefly explain the first Kindle book, Kaizen by Bottom Up plus Top Down. In this book, you will learn in 3 steps, and you will be able to improve your ability to improve while putting what you have learned into practice at the manufacturing site. In this book, the point is, why should employees do Kaizen in their corporate life? After explaining about how does Kaizen contribute to colleagues, companies, and customers, it describes the contents to know deeply about and to improve efficiently with friends. The second book is Eliminating Muta Work by Visualization Technology. The feature of this book is that it is cheap and you can study freely, but at the same time, since Kindle books can directly access YouTube on the web, for this reason, when you will look at video, you can understand contents that are difficult to convey even on a book. The feature is that it is extremely effective. Now, let me give you an example of some of the improvements in the video. Next scene is the assembly of electronic components. The work cycle is only 5 seconds. It is very time, but also repeats many times. Once we use the slow motion analysis to this job, we can find a lot of wastes in it. For example, it is difficult to do the work mounting of the screw, and also uses many seconds. So, I think the improvement in KYS perspective. It is very effective to use the screw fastening device to this work. As you can see, after I used it, this job finished with 1.5 seconds. This work is the improvement of small operations. But, it was 3.3 times productivity and showed a great value. In this way, the method in which you learn improvement methods using video and text information should dramatically increase the efficiency of your method acquisition. This book contains content similar to that shown in this example. The characteristic content of this book is, what should we improve for? And it contains a lot of know-how such as video analysis. As for zero defect countermeasures, recurrence prevention activities are started by going to the site and eliminating the cause of the defect that occurs in the actual product. The point of zeroization is based on Heinrich's principle. If you capture the situation of 30 defect risks and eliminate them, you can prevent the occurrence of one defect on top of that and eliminate it. This book summarizes the countermeasure activities and examples of taking this phenomenon at the time of occurrence. This initiative is a book that describes the efforts made by 21 companies from different industries and Mr. Nakamura at JMA over a 4-year period in 3 stages. The target of zero defects is materials. On the other hand, if the target is changed to equipment, the same method can be used for zero equipment failure measures. In addition, this activity will enable the development of people who are familiar with the equipment. This book explains how to proceed with TPM through equipment danger prediction and equipment training. JIT is a method that was promoted in the 1950s while Toyota Motor was suffering from a deficit, and was announced to the world during the recession of the 1970s. The application success rate of companies that have introduced lean production, which imitates this method as it is 6% or less. In this book, along with clarifying the reason from the measures that companies other than Toyota will not fail by introducing JIT, from the concrete application of JIT and SCM to the practical analysis of the points of success, the application method will be explained with examples. This is the book I introduced. There is a teaching in a book that guides industry strategy and top leaders. The act of a successful fluke sticking to his success story is a fool, whereas the one who learns from history is a wise man. This book is a book that analyzes the activities of famous top leaders in history and puts them to use in corporate strategy and activities, as well as the activities of prominent leaders who have led the industry. 5M plus I are the 6 elements of production: men and women, methods, measurements, and machines. Materials means design and information, but if you utilize these elements step by step, you can grow your manufacturing factory systematically and efficiently. This is a book that summarizes various methods that Mr. Nakamura has used 5M plus I in practice with such a concept. In industry in the world, no matter how well known and favored the method, if it does not fit the company's history and environmental conditions, it will not produce results. One example is the situation where the lean manufacturing method is applied at a rate of 6% or less, which I explained earlier, but there are many other problems of this type. So, this book exemplifies the cases that the JMA Group people and consultants who were supporting companies have experienced. TPS-JIT is famous as a target that attracts particular attention overseas as a Japanese improvement method still now. However, in Japan, more than 90% are SMEs, and there are many super excellent companies that deliver and sell products directly to the world market and excellent companies in the world. This book is a comprehensive collection of the strategies and activities of those companies that have driven such Japanese industry. Manufacturing in Japan has been supported by on-site personnel who work diligently at the manufacturing site and on-site managers who are trying to train them. Furthermore, in the era of IoT, in Japan, efforts to manage the site on-site have been promoted even before the beginning of 2000. The difference in management ability of site managers is about twice the productivity of the manufacturing site and nearly 3 times the difference in defects, failures, and safety. Therefore, the Japanese manufacturing industry has endeavored to train site managers, but this book is a summary of effective training methods. If your company advances automation by IoT, it will be effective, but conversely, if other companies purchase the equipment, any country and any company can manufacture products at the same level. For such product manufacturing, there are products that cannot be manufactured without a human skill factory. In addition, most of the world's leading new products have been created using outstanding skills. However, Japan is in a situation of declining birth rate and aging population. So how do you convey these outstanding skills to young people and improve them in a short period of time? In this book, Mr. Nakamura was in charge of the secretary, systematized the method at the JMA study group together with many companies, and introduced the contents that produced practical effects. Many top managers of excellent companies on Japan that are learning in response to corporate growth have made efforts to establish management strategies and policies from many fields. Among them, Activities to learn from individual and group sports are particularly active because, in the case of sports, one of the characteristics is that the results of that kind are clear and short. From a management perspective, this book was summarized what celebrities have learned from these various sports. As you can see, these books summarize contents which you will require on your company for many improvement phases, so I would appreciate it if you could refer to these books for your problems.